welcome to the Explore Your Story adventure. If you are someone who has no idea what that's all about, you just happened upon my channel, then I will put the links to my blog below. You can go and check out what it's about. We run a spiritual adventure with the Lord and using my testimony and my story with the Lord as our guide. So you are more than welcome to go and check out all the details and to join us if you'd like. I look like my mum today. I look a lot like my mother today. When I looked in the mirror, I was like, wow. And I realized it's because I'm wearing this corally shade of lipstick. I usually use pinky colors, but not absolutely everything in my wardrobe looks good with pink. For example, this item does not look at all good with pink. So I went about the task of trying to find a nude lipstick, a neutral nude lipstick. But you know, it didn't matter which one I tried on, whether it was a chocolatey shade or a honey shade or oatmeal shade or whatever kind of neutral I tried on. When I went and looked in the mirror, it literally looked like someone had taken a blob of clay and just thrown it onto my face. So this corally shade is kind of now my nude, my neutral. Let me show you, I've got it here. It's just from Woolies. It's quite nice, but if any of you have a suggestion of a nude lipstick that you think would work for me, please let me know. I know some of you are really good with makeup, not like me. I'm not good with makeup. And of course, this is why I have restricted this adventure to women only. It's got nothing to do with, you know, men and women in the spiritual realm and headship and all that. It's just got to do with every now and again, I'd like to talk about makeup. And there's another thing I'd like to share with you. Do any of you do this? Before I sit down in front of the camera, I spray perfume on. You know, I don't know why. I just put perfume on. It's like I'm going out. It's like I'm coming actually to your house to meet you. The one that I'm wearing now, let me show you, see if you can see it. I'm not sure. It's Black Opium by Yves Saint Laurent. It's like very, very strong. So you have to spray it at quite a distance, otherwise you'll probably pass out. It's nice and it lasts a long time, and it's very precious to me because my friends in Lebanon, who I first met in Cyprus, they gave it to me as a present. And can you believe it was just at a moment where I literally sprayed my last spray of perfume on perfume. As you know, good fragrances are very expensive. I didn't have money at that time to buy another one. And lo and behold, my two friends, who are also not rolling in the dough, met me in Beirut, and they had brought me this beautiful present. So it's so precious to me. And if you guys are amongst those who have signed up, thank you so much once again for my beautiful fragrance. Also, any ideas that you guys have for a lovely fragrance for winter, please let me know. We really would love to try something new this winter. So on with the show. Today we're talking about the faithfulness of God. The faithfulness of God, and that's why that perfume story was not such an incredible ramble, because it's another example. It's a small example of the faithfulness of God. I have found God to be incredibly faithful with fragrances. Every time I come to the end, I just look to the Lord, and He has spoken to me many times through fragrances. For example, I was given another present many years ago, and it was a perfume called Amarish, Givenchy Amarish. I loved it, but I had no idea what Amarish meant. And then one of my friends, who's an absolute fragrance buff, you know who you are, she came to me and she said, "Ooh," she said, "you know, this is the perfume that celebrates marriage. It's an ode, it's a fragrant ode to marriage by Givenchy, and look at the ring around the top. It's actually a wedding ring." And I was like, wow. And do you know, God used that to speak to me about the fact that I was soon to be married. And literally 2 weeks later, after receiving that perfume, it was a prophetic action. I met my husband and, you know, got the real wedding ring. So I carried on using that Amarish for a long time, actually up until this year. But now just my body chemistry has changed. It just doesn't seem to suit me anymore. So I'm on the lookout for something new. I really need to stop talking about perfume now. This is about God's faithfulness. But having said that, let me just tell you that God Himself has a fragrance. If you've read my book, which I really hope you have, because none of this is going to make much sense until you read the book. And I'm going to be constantly referring to things in the story and dipping in and out of it, and not in a very chronological way. So please do read it, otherwise it's going to be a little bit meaningless for you. Yes, so God has a fragrance. And as you know, on the day that I actually met him and he appeared to me in the garden, the first hints I had that something was different was this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful fragrance. So beautiful that it was captivating to the extent that I just had to. I pushed this man aside who was my absolute tormentor, violent, abusive, frightening person when he was taken over by this spirit. We won't say the person, we all know that our fight is not against flesh and blood, right? He would be taken over by Satan, really, who's so hateful. Don't ever think Satan doesn't just want to destroy you, because he does. Of course he can't. He's under our feet now, but that time he wasn't. He still had me completely fooled. But when I smelled that beautiful, beautiful fragrance, when I woke up that morning after wrestling and being in and out of this place of death, I smelled the smell and I just pushed this man aside like this. So if he didn't exist, he became a small little shadowy figure over here, mouthing words that I could not even hear. I was aware that he was going like this with his mouth. I couldn't hear a word. And literally, he seemed that small in my eyes. Literally, not just like, in some psychological way he had diminished. He seemed like a tiny little figure over there in a deep, deep shadow, talking like this, but I couldn't hear a word. I think that's how God sometimes sees people like that. I think I was just seeing him from God's point of view. Anyway, I went out into the garden and like a mad thing, I started smelling every bush in the garden. It was a small garden and we had a lot of lovely fragrant bushes in the garden, like the yesterday, today, tomorrow, that one. And it's such a beautiful fragrance. But it couldn't compare, and I couldn't compare to what I was smelling. And I ran around from bush to bush. What is this new thing? What is this new plant that has grown in my garden? And it was then that I saw the light coming across the sky. It was then that I noticed that the sun was going dull, and it was actually, so my first encounter with the Lord actually was through his fragrance, and the Bible speaks about that. I will put all the references to those kind of fragrancy things in my blog post, so do go over and have a look at that. This video is never going to be enough. You need to watch it and do it in conjunction with what I've written on my blog post. So it's very interesting, isn't it, that God can use fragrance as a prophetic action. Fragrance is very much part of the prophetic, and as most of you know, if you don't, I'm telling you now, I'm a prophet. That's my main calling. All of this is part of that. By the way, dear friend, I by no means planned to sit down here today and talk to you about fragrance and God's fragrance. This is completely by the leading of the Holy Spirit. So I do think that we'll just focus on that. It's something that I don't think I've ever heard a preach about, the fragrance of God and what that means. So let's explore. Let's just deviate a little bit from the main track and go on an exploration into the bush to find beautiful fragrances and what that's all about. So go on over to the blog post now. You're going to see a lot more stuff that I'm going to put there for you. I know a lot about it. I've just never actually shared it with anybody. So let's go and do that. Seems an unusual note to start off on, but why not? Note. Did you see what I did there? Yep, because perfume has notes, top notes, base notes. So that's what we're going to explore this week, and I can't wait. Also, let me know what your favorite fragrance is, and let me know if you've ever experienced God in that way, if you've ever experienced fragrances and in times of worship, or you've ever been aware of a fragrance. Just share that on the comments below the blog, or on the Facebook page, or Change Your Life Facebook page, or where else. Yeah, at the bottom of this video on the YouTube channel. I love you guys a lot. Until next time, Avante.